So my name is Jacob Tanenbaum, and I'm a computer teacher here in Cottage Lane Elementary School. IVECA to me is 21st century learning. You know, it's excellent 21st century learning in the sense that the children that we teach here today are as likely to do business with people across the world as they are to do business with people down the street. And they need to understand and learn how to work in an intercultural setting. And that's what IVECA teaches. Technology takes away time and it takes away distance. We can have a conversation, even if we're awake at different times. And distance becomes irrelevant. It doesn't matter where in the world we are, if we can reach the internet, we can have a conversation. That's what IVECA does, that's what IVECA teaches to kids. How to interact with people in an intercultural setting and in a flat world. And let students get on and have an interaction. A simple interaction. From the school's standpoint, it's very simple to implement. All you need is an internet browser and a web connection. The IVECA team does the rest. They set up the Moodle, they handle all the children's accounts. All you're doing is getting on a website and interacting with people across the planet. The biggest roadblock that you have in schools is feeling like you can do it, is taking that first step. And that's true for any technology. You have to have a sense of adventure if you want to teach 21st century skills, because everything is new. But that's not just IVECA, that's all technology. All you need is a decent web camera and a microphone and a screen where you can project the pictures coming in from the other side. Live class is wonderful. We're using a very simple system called Skype. Skype is very easy to implement in the sense that it doesn't demand a whole lot from the machines. So that's ideal for a school setting. We often don't have great internet connections and we don't have great equipment all the time. Sometimes we're working with older computers. When you're teaching children who are going to live their lives in the 21st century, you have to rethink some of your educational process. You have to rethink some of your curriculum. You have to teach, first of all, how to use technology to communicate. Not just to read a website, but to communicate with somebody. You have to teach communication in an intercultural setting. How to communicate with people from across the world. How to communicate people when their English is not perfect. How to communicate with people when their culture is different from yours. And you have to take a little more care to make sure that you're communicating the message that you really want to bring across. Those are critical path skills, and those are not skills that we in American education have traditionally taught in the past. So we're rethinking our curriculum when we start talking about 21st century skills, and IVECA can help. IVECA can really bring a tremendous toolkit so that we can easily go out and teach critical path skills to this new generation. What you do is that you hand off your curriculum to the IVECA team and they try to match your curriculum with something that's going on overseas. So for example, we did one unit where our fourth graders were studying ecosystems, and the fourth graders on the other side also were studying ecosystems. And I think we had very little change to our curriculum, but we were able to integrate IVECA because we were talking about something we were already doing. So it was really a part of the curriculum. It wasn't something we were adding on. And it didn't take so much extra time. And I think that's important for teachers to understand. It surprised me, first of all, how simple it was to communicate with people across the world on a large scale. How excited and receptive the entire school community was to this project. I thought when we were going to ask kids to come back at 7 o'clock in the evening, I thought that we would have a bit more pushback, a bit more resistance from everybody involved, because that's a tremendous imposition on a lot of people. It's a tremendous imposition on the families, it's a tremendous imposition on the school, which had to stay open later, and every single person that we've interacted with in our school community was 100% behind it. We had 100% attendance on so many of these projects where these kids were coming back late at night, and the families loved it. And the families supported it, and they helped. They brought food and stayed patiently while the kids were working. The school stayed open and have been 100% behind this project. They all recognize the value of these skills. They recognize what this is doing for kids and how critical this is for kids who are growing up in this new century. You're bringing something in that hasn't been in American education in the past. You know, and what was wonderful to see was how receptive kids were to working with people from another culture. Only about 40% of Americans have a passport. Only about 40% of Americans feel it's valuable to travel abroad. So many of the kids that we teach have not had an experience traveling to another country and might not in their life. So this is a very important skill. We are part of a world community, and we in American education have to do more, I think, to bring our children outside of the walls around this country. I think IVECA does that well, and what surprised me, what pleased me, were how well the children reacted and responded, how much they got out of it, and how well the community supported this project. I think the biggest skill that's required of teachers is the ability to embrace change, the ability to embrace a kind of educational philosophy that we didn't grow up with, and a kind of educational toolkit that we didn't grow up with. We have to rethink what we're doing. That's true for corporations, that's true for communities, and it's true for education. We have to rethink what we're doing. We cannot teach the same way as we were taught in school when we were growing up. It's a different world. The needs of this generation are different. The toolkit that we use to teach are different. Well, IVECA again brings a very simple toolkit that a teacher can implement out of the box in the classroom using what you have in the classroom and reach across the world. How wonderful is that? Well, my message to teachers, I think, when you look at this, is don't be afraid. Embrace change. And understand that you have to teach the skills that are required for the 21st century. It's really not an option if you want to do justice to the children that you're caring for. And this is a very simple, easy way that you can implement 21st century skills quickly. Why not take a try?